pick up that?
I'll come to you, David. Okay.
Dan Cox, want to pick it up?
No.
Was it Labour's watch that did the damage?
I mean, I think it was well before. I mean, the financial crisis has been going on for a long, long time. And I think to lay it at the door of one party or even another party, I think isn't really fair, because I don't think it's true. I think that people have been getting greedier and greedier and greedier. And also, I have to pose the questions about the IMF. I'm not altogether sure if the IMF is at all, or would be at all, concerned about social impact. I think the IMF needs to be reformed for a start. I think our whole monetary value needs to be reformed. I think that we're living in the dark ages as far as that's concerned. I mean, we have allowed people to get rich at the expense of others, and that seems to me to be wrong. And it's time that there was an equation, the balance was shifted. And given the speed of the cuts, yes, cuts have to happen. But you have to be careful about the knee-jerk reaction of cuts, because if you cut too much, the whole fabric will collapse. And that's what I'm concerned about.
David Starkey.
Well, first of all, we've got a real historical parallel, which is Canada in the 1990s, which cut savagely. It cut programmes by up to 40%. It blew up hospitals. It was shocking, and it worked. Canada has boomed in a quite astonishing way. So cuts, providing they're done fast, providing they're done ruthlessly and you move on, they do work. The problem with Brian's point, and I sympathise with it, but unfortunately we live in a world in which increasingly our economy is dominated by India and China. If we wish to live, if we wish to survive, I'm sorry, the higher romance won't work. But there is a fundamental point, and this goes right back to everything that's been said this evening. It's Ed Balls and his attempt at presenting politics as a therapeutic exercise. We've got to move on. It's the gentleman in the blue tie. They can't. They were in it. The banking crisis, I'm afraid, is 90% Labour's responsibility in this country. It's not only regulation, it is the cosy relationship between Gordon Brown and the worst of the bankers. Why did Fred Goodwin get his knife? No, let me continue, because it's very important. Why did the first thing, the ones he wanted to get HBOS sorted out, he simply picked up the phone to Victor Blank and they bought it. Lloyd's bought it. I mean, it's quite extraordinary. And finally, the other Ed Balls, was in it just as much. It is Ed who says that the only problem with Labour spending plans comes once the banking crisis happened. In other words, New Labour, we are happy about people being filthy rich, went into the bed with the bankers, and 25... You were talking about, David, of government revenue. 25% came from the city. It was the devil's deal, it was the sorcerer's apprentice, and we've all paid the price, and you can't just blame the bankers. They were all in it together.